You check your account before you get out of bed, not because you're worried. You haven't been worried about money in years. You check it the way some people check the weather. Out of habit, out of routine, the number is fine, the number is always fine, $4,200. A Tuesday. You put the phone face down on the nightstand and go make coffee. You earn good money. You have earned good money for 11 years. You know this because people tell you, your parents tell you, your college friends tell you, the ones who went into teaching or nonprofits and talk about your job the way people talk about someone who married well. You landed on your feet. You did. You know you did. The coffee maker finishes. You pour a cup and stand at the kitchen window and look out at the street below, and you feel, if you're being honest, pretty good about where things are. This is the blind spot, right here. This moment, this feeling. You just don't know it yet. It started the year you crossed $100,000. You were 29. Your manager called you into her office and slid a paper across the desk, and you looked at the number and nodded like it was expected, like you'd already done the math. And then you walked back to your desk and sat very still for about 40 seconds before you let yourself smile. You called your mother that night. She cried a little. Your father got on the phone and said, "I always knew," and you let him say it. That weekend you moved apartments. Not because you needed to. Your old place was fine. But you'd been looking at a building across town for 2 years, the one with the exposed brick and the rooftop and the doorman who nods when you walk in. And now you could. So you did. $2,400 a month, up from $1,100. You told yourself it was an investment in your quality of life, in your mental health, in showing up to work like someone who belonged there. You believed that, completely. The lease was 12 months. You renewed it, then renewed it again, then they raised it to $2,700, and you paid it without calling anyone, without looking anything up, without doing any math at all, because the number in your account was still fine. The year you turned 31, you got a new car. Not new, certified pre-owned. A practical decision you told the finance manager at the dealership, who nodded the way people nod when they are being paid to agree with you. $520 a month. 7 years. You also got the extended warranty and the protection package and the better insurance because the car was worth protecting. You drive it to work every day. It's a 12-minute drive. There's parking in the building. $180 a month. You park in the same spot every morning and you take the elevator up and you sit at your desk and you do good work and you get paid well for it. The car payment and the parking together cost more per month than some people's rent. You have never thought about that sentence, not once. You are generous. This is true and it matters, and it is also one of the quiet places the money goes. Dinner with friends, you usually grab the check. Not always, but often enough that people expect it and you don't mind because you can. And it feels good to be the person who can. Your best friend had a kid and you sent something expensive from a registry without checking the price first. Your sister needed help with a security deposit and you sent it the same day she asked. No loan, no payback plan. A gift. You don't regret any of it. But here's what's true at the same time. You have done this consistently for years with money that was never fully yours to give, money that was spoken for, money that was already assigned to a future you haven't built yet. You didn't know that. You still don't. You have a 401k. You enrolled when you started the job because HR sent a form and you filled it out. You put in 4% because that's what they matched and it seemed right. You have not looked at it since the first year, when the balance was small enough that checking felt pointless. Somewhere in the background, it has been growing, not as fast as it should be. Not at the percentage a calculator would have recommended for someone your age with your income and your timeline. But it's there. It exists. It makes you feel, when the subject of retirement comes up at dinner, like someone who has things handled. I have a 401k, you say. And the conversation moves on, and you move on with it. You are 38 years old. You have $47,000 in that account. A financial planner, if you ever sat down with one, would look at that number, and then look at your income, and then look at you and ask a question that would feel like an accusation. They wouldn't mean it that way, but it would land that way. Where did the rest of it go? Here's where the rest of it went. The subscriptions first. You have 11 of them. You know about 6. The other 5 you forgot. One is a photography app you downloaded during a phase. One is a meditation platform you used for 2 weeks in January. One is a streaming service you signed up for a specific show, and then the show ended. They draft automatically. Small numbers. $8.99, $12.99, $6.99. The kind of numbers that don't feel like spending. They are spending. Then the food. Not restaurants exactly, though those too, but the delivery. The convenience tax. The $4 fee plus the $3 service fee plus the tip you round up because the math is already blurry by then. You order in 4 times a week on average. Sometimes 5. You tell yourself it's because you work hard and you deserve the ease. This is true. It is also $600 a month. Then the travel, 1 big trip a year and 2 or 3 smaller ones, long weekends, flights that weren't that bad, hotels that were worth it. You pay with a credit card you pay off most months. Then the things you bought that made sense at the time, the standing desk, the espresso machine, the jacket that cost $400 because it was made well and would last. Maybe it will. You're not sure it will last $400 worth, but you bought it. None of these things are embarrassing. None of them are stupid. That's the thing nobody tells you about a financial blind spot. It's not made of mistakes. It's made of reasonable decisions stacked one on top of the other until the stack is tall enough to block the view. You got a raise last year, 11%, the biggest of your career. Your manager called it exceptional, and she meant it, and you earned it. You walked out of that meeting feeling like the gap between where you were and where you wanted to be had just gotten smaller. It hadn't. The raise hit your account, and within 4 months, your spending had adjusted to meet it. The nicer grocery store, the gym with the better equipment, the upgrade on the flight because you'd been doing this long enough to deserve the extra legroom. The raise dissolved into your lifestyle the way water dissolves into dry ground, fast, completely, without a trace. You don't notice it missing because it never felt like it arrived. This has a name. Economists call it lifestyle inflation. You have never heard that term. Or maybe you have in passing in an article you skimmed. Either way, it doesn't apply to you. You're not inflating anything. You're just living at the level you've earned. You believe that. It is the most expensive thing you believe. There's a version of your life running parallel to this one. Same job, same salary, same city. But in that version, the person sat down at 29, the year they crossed $100,000 and did 30 minutes of math. They looked at what they earned and what they spent and what the gap between those two numbers could become if they left it alone long enough. They didn't deprive themselves. They still took the trips. They still grabbed dinner. They just drew a line. They automated $1,500 a month into an index fund and they treated it like a bill, the way you treat your rent, something that leaves before you can think about it. At 38, that account has $180,000 in it. At 48, it will have more than $500,000. At 58, it will have crossed $1 million without them ever feeling like they sacrificed anything. You don't know that version of yourself. You've never met them, but they exist. They've been running alongside you this whole time, quiet, invisible, getting further ahead with every year you didn't start. Last month, your friend mentioned he was thinking about retiring at 55. You laughed. Not meanly. You laughed the way you laugh at something that sounds like a different species of ambition, something that belongs to people who think about money differently than you do, people who are obsessed, people who make it their whole personality. I don't want to spend my whole life optimizing, you said. I want to actually live. Your friend nodded. He didn't say anything. What he didn't tell you is that he earns slightly less than you, has for years, lives in a smaller apartment, drives a car that's paid off, and takes the same trips but books them 3 months early. He doesn't think about money constantly. He thought about it once, seriously, at 27, and then set everything up so he wouldn't have to think about it again. He is not optimizing his life. He has automated his future. You are living fully in the present, which sounds like a virtue. It is also a plan, just not the one you think you have. Next year, you will get another raise. You will feel, briefly, the way you always feel when the number goes up, like things are clicking, like the trajectory is right, like the gap is closing. You'll celebrate with a nice dinner, maybe upgrade something, take a trip you'd been thinking about. And the raise will dissolve, the way they always do, into a life that expands quietly to receive it. At 45, you will look at your accounts, all of them together, for the first time in years. Maybe the first time ever. You'll do this because something will prompt it, a birthday, a conversation, a number on a calculator you ran out of curiosity, and you will sit very still. Not the way you sat at 29, when the number surprised you in the right direction. The other kind of still. The kind where you're doing math in your head and the math keeps coming out wrong and you keep starting over because you must be making an error somewhere. And you're not making an error. You just never added it up before. 11 years of good money, 11 years of fine, 11 years of the account always looking okay on a Tuesday morning before you got out of bed, and a number in front of you that doesn't reflect any of it. You will tell yourself there's still time. There is. That part is true. But you will say it the way people say it when they mean. I cannot look at this directly yet. You'll close the laptop. You'll go make coffee. You'll stand at the window and look out at the street below. And you'll feel, if you're being honest, a little less sure about where things are. The blind spot doesn't disappear the day you almost see it. It just gets a little harder to stand in. And somewhere, the parallel version of you, the one who did the 30 minutes of math at 29, keeps running, quiet, invisible, not ahead because they were smarter, not ahead because they sacrificed more, ahead because they looked. The only difference between building wealth and earning it forever without keeping it is one honest conversation with yourself early enough to matter. You still have time to have that conversation. The question is whether you'll wait until Tuesday.